Hey y'all, Cypher here and welcome back to another Outerplane video. Now I know it's been a lot of time since I made my last video, but honestly everything has been so slow regarding the game. There has been no significant updates, no good events as of now. It's been over one and a half months of soft launch or open beta, sorry, what do we even call it? But finally, a global date has been announced. It's 23rd of May, so at the time of when I'm recording, it's in 5 days, I think, right? 18 plus 5, 23. Yeah, it's in 5 days for sure. It's in 5 days. So it's time to make a tier list for the people who are looking to join the game. Now, for some background information, I have over 6 months of experience playing Outerplane. I first played it in the first beta, the English beta. Now I just started playing on the soft launch again. So I have a fair idea of how the heroes works. I am not going to be including the heroes which are expected to release, such as Rin. I'm just going to be including the heroes which are going to be available in the game at the time of global launch, right? There's also heavy speculation that Rin might be the featured hero when the game launches globally, and like that's a separate topic for discussion, so I'm just not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to do in this tier list video is I'm going to be doing 3 different tier lists. Basically, one is for 3 stars, 2 is for natural 2 stars, and the third video is going to be all about 1 stars, right? Because I think they need to be segregated. They cannot be included in the same tier list. At least that's how I like to view things, especially in game like Outerplane, where it's essentially everything is shard based. So it'll also give you a clear idea of which hero you want to farm shards for, right? So there's that. So coming to this video, it's going to be all about natural 3 stars. Now let's start the video just by putting probably one of the most heavily rerolled character in the game, Noah at SS. She is no joke, great scaling, her attack base stats are great. She also deals damage based on monsters max HP, so she's gonna be amazing in boss fights. No cap, Noah has carried many players to late game all by herself. Like, just pair her with even starter characters like Eva and she will do the job. She's just a great innate DPS, right? She's a machine. She is a machine. Coming to the next hero, Maxwell. Now Maxwell is debatedly S. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be angry at me, or probably people by now have realized that Maxwell is not as solid as Noah. Like, I'm just talking strictly in terms of rerolling, right? Now, of course, if you want more damage over time, I believe Maxwell might be better, especially if he has more burst skill opportunities, because his third skill actually does a shit ton of damage because of his defense penetration. And I think Maxwell is good in cleave teams, but then again, even Noah can do the same job as Maxwell does, because technically her hits are also AoE. Plus, I feel they have just a lot more scaling to them. I don't know why. Even though it should be technically only be beneficial against monsters or boss monsters or just tanky heroes because they scale with max HP. But it just seems that Noah does more damage, and that's why I can't put Maxwell in the same tier as Noah, right? So anybody who says to you that reroll for Maxwell, I would suggest heavily not to, unless you just like his character design and you do not give a fuck about the general game mechanics, the general progression in the game. That's a different mindset, honestly, and I respect that. I totally respect that, but I still feel Noah is better. Coming to another, well, it's not popular reroll choice, but it's a hero included in rerolling. That's going to be Eliza. I believe she is Eliza, right? She's effectively, I don't want to put any 3-star hero in the C tier, but she just feels, I'm not going to put her in the C tier. I'm just going to put her in the B tier. She is just not good. She does not do enough damage. She is possibly a good hero that can synergize with stuff like Dolly, stuff like Laplace, because she can enable to, like, you know, amplify more buffs or debuffs. She can even work with Francesca because of the bleed debuffs. But in herself, in her own lonely self, she is just not comparable at all to likes of Noah, even Maxwell. She just sucks. I just don't know how to put it more softly. She sucks, right? I mean, she has bad scaling as well. Believe me, I got Eliza in my second account. and she is in the vault. She's not even leveled up. She is just bad. She is terrible compared to like likes of Noah and Maxwell. By the way, you can get both of them free, so I don't know in any universe where you would choose Eliza over Noah or Maxwell if you're a new player. That's just my point of view, right? Coming to the next 3-star that I can see on the list, Francesca. Now, Francesca is a great single target DPS, possibly the highest single target DPS in the game. So honestly, that deserves a spot in at least S tier. She's not exactly over the top, she's not SS worthy, but she is definitely S tier, because if Maxwell is considered as king of AoE, she is literally the queen of single target hits, because I mean, her scaling on her third ability is insane. The only prerequisite is she needs a little bit of accuracy, or she needs her burst ability to maximize her chance of landing the debuff, the bleed debuff on the enemy with her second skill. Do not use her ultimate ability without the boss having any like bleeding debuffs, right? Because that will just negate her damage overall. But yeah, I mean, she's a solid target if you were looking for heroes to reroll for. She's not available through rerolling. I don't think so on the starter summon banner, but she is available through the general banner, so there's that. But again, there's just other choices which are better, right? Talking about other choices that are better, Valentine. Now, Valentine is SS tier. This should be no surprise to people who are relatively knowledgeable about the game. For new players, just get a Valentine. Honestly, if you're getting a Valentine coupled with Noah, your life is set. Like your life till at least level 50, 60 is completely set. You can probably do all the PvE content in the game at the moment. You will probably just need one more healer, and by healer it can be anybody, right? It can be Eva, it can be any starter champion. You just need a healer to keep these surviving, because Valentine is probably the best support DPS in the game, and that's because she does a lot of priority manipulation. Now, for players who are I don't know, they're not knowledgeable about priority, it's kind of like attack gauge in Epic 7. She increases the priority of champions with a basic skill. She decreases the priority with her ultimate ability, her third ability. Her burst skill is just an overpowered bunch of buffs. She provides critical hit rate, critical hit damage, like it's insane. She can just, and coupled with Noah, specifically I'm talking about Noah, like DPS champions, they require these buffs to do more damage, and there's a high chance, I mean not high chance, there's like 80-90% chance that your heroes are going to be lacking those crucial stats at the early to mid level, right? Because you're not going to be forming 5 to 6-star gear as soon as possible. And Noah and Maxwell, they really need some crazy crit rate, especially Noah. I'm sorry, especially Maxwell, because Noah gets an innate crit rate buff, but Maxwell doesn't. So I mean, she's just best with any DPS, even Francesca. So yeah, if you want to have a monster in your team that can completely obliterate enemies, I mean, her damage isn't that bad either. I have seen some Valentines that had a one shot in my squishy DPS, right? So her damage is nothing to be joking around as well. Plus her main goal is just all about the buffs she brings, the priority increase she brings. So yeah, I mean, Valentine is a solid choice, not just a solid, probably your #1 choice if you're looking to reroll. So try to get Valentine with Noah or Valentine with Maxwell. Your game is probably set, right? Coming to the next, which where can I find Siren, guys? Siren. This is a hot topic, but I feel Siren is SS tier. She is currently the only hero in the game that can revive people. I know that that's a long shot because it takes her to be, I think, 5 stars in the game to be able to unlock the revive thingy on her burst ability. But even without 5 stars, even in her base form at 3 stars, she is the best healer in the game. Her recovery amount multipliers are insane. She is, I just don't know how to say it. She removes debuffs from all allies with a basic attack. So imagine you putting her on a counter attack set. So boss does debuff like a stun or something, which is pretty prevalent in towers and even in boss fights. There's a lot of mechanics, right, involved, which are like debuff oriented. So she can just cleanse them, right? She just cleanses them. Although it's, I believe it's 50% chance or 60%, I don't know, but It's a basic attack, come on, how hard can it be, right? And believe me, Siren carried me on my original account, which was rerolled pretty badly. I mean, it was not rerolled, it was just a normal account that had started. I had no clue, I had no motivation to reroll actually. It was my first account, I think viewers of the channel might remember that. And Siren actually carried me pretty hard. she's the best healer, right? So if you want to focus down a healer, honestly, these three is just a killer combination in the top row. That's what I'm just saying. They're just SS tier. Like they're just a tier every bit like above everybody else, in my opinion. They do their job the best, and there's no replacement for them, honestly. Now coming to the next 3-star that I can find is gonna be Beth. Now Beth is a hero that did not get in either of my accounts. I've heard she does decent damage. So I'm just gonna put her in A tier. I had seen a video of a person who did a lot of damage with Beth, and honestly her kit seems like she can do a lot of damage. Maybe it's just her multipliers that are lacking, because she can give herself a penetration buff, and penetration, it just means she will ignore 30% of the enemy's defense when she attacks. And she has both AoE target attacks, she has a single target attack, so I don't see where the problem is. It's most likely her multipliers are bad. But yeah, I mean, Beth is not terrible. She's not as bad as Eliza, but yeah, she's definitely not at the level of someone like Noah or like even a Maxwell. She's just not there, right? She's she probably will get there eventually if you build her right, if you have godly equipment. But then again, like I'm talking about a more realistic mindset. I don't think any player is gonna be maxing her out at day one, right? So there's that. Coming to the next guy I can find, Leo. I have pulled 2 copies of Leo, and I don't know if I want to put him S tier, but it feels like an S tier to me, especially if you max out his skills. Now hear me out, right? I think this is gonna be a hot topic. Leo is only PvP oriented. He's not exactly crazy good in your PvE game modes, your adventure mode. He's just not gonna be the guy you want in your team, right? And that's specifically because he does not provide anything for team. He only has 1 turn invincibility buff, which is not really good. You need more something to support your allies, something like heals, shields, or something. He has a decent evasion buff that he brings to the table for all allies, but that just does not prove enough for PvE. Now for PvP, again, this is a completely different argument, because PvP matches, they last usually shorter, and I think Leo can be a good hero against cleave teams. So currently, if you do not know, the meta in Arena is all about cleaves. There's Snows, Dollies, Valentines. They just push up the allies while they decrease the priority of your enemies, and then your DPS kicks in, and it's all about cleaving, right? If you do not know what cleave means, it's basically like turn 1, right? Turn 1 gaming is currently prevalent in the meta. Leo, I believe, can be a stopper to that, coupled with something like another defender like Veronica. I think Leo can be pretty good, especially in tanky team comps. Now, currently, we do not have enough tanky bruisers in the game, so I'm just thinking if I should put him in. You know what? I should probably put him in A, because again, I'm following the realistic mindset. I don't think person who's gonna be coming to the global launch is gonna be wanting a Leo. I just don't think that's good, right? I just don't think that's a good choice in my own opinion. So I should not guide you guys for that as well. Now coming to the next hero, a good old friendly face, Rona. Now Rona is a solid A tier. You get her completely free to play. You can even probably get her to 5 stars. I believe somebody did 5-star her in under 2 weeks, probably even 1 week. I don't remember, but somebody did that, and I think it's totally possible. You can even look it up in Discord or YouTube. I know someone made a video. Me personally, I just left her at 4 stars. She's above 4 stars, almost 5 stars. But I do not grind her fragments right now because I have better choices to grind for. But Rona is kind of like the average bruiser that is available in every game, right? She scales with max HP. She does decent damage. She's not exactly a nuker, but she provides a big decreased defense on all enemies with the 3rd skill, which is amazing. She can also provide a defense buff on herself, and she heals herself as well with her burst ability. her second skill, right? So there's a lot to talk about Rona, but she's not specifically a hero I would say you should prefer on, especially regarding farming fragments in the side story. Again, you get her completely free to play, so there's no doubt that you will not get her. You will get her for sure, right? But I just don't feel you should invest your precious side story challenges into Rona fragments, right? I just don't feel it's necessary. So that covers Rona. Coming to our next 3-star that I can find. Alright, Veronica. Guys, Veronica is the queen. Now, I'm so glad I got her on my second account. She is definitely worthy of SS tier. Veronica is probably the only champion, the only defender in the game that deals a lot of damage, honestly. I found her damage to be quite prevalent. She scales off her max HP. Again, a solid stat to look forward to when you are building defenders. She has AoE strip, so she strips one buff from all enemies with her third skill. She provides an AoE, defense buff on all allies. Every single turn, she provides a solid hefty barrier to the ally which has the lowest current amount of HP. She's kind of like Fallen Cecilia in Epic 7, so if you know Fallen Cecilia, you might relate with Veronica, right? Her first ability is a dual attack, kind of like Lilius in Epic 7. I know there's a lot of references of Epic 7, but I feel a lot of the kits are inspired from Epic 7. Of course, because they're technically the same publishers. I'm not gonna say developers because developers are different. This one is developed by VA Games. Other one is purely developed by Smilegate. But again, that's not a topic of discussion of this video. Veronica, just a solid overall defender. 10 out of 10, just reroll for her, or at least if you do not get Valentine, you might even want to settle for Veronica, right? She's not bad at all. She's amazing. She's amazing for both PvP and PvE. So yeah, and there's some stages, honestly, which you can cheese with her provoke, because she has a 100% chance to provoke with her burst skill. Just amazing. No words, right? Coming to the last, probably the last 3-star that I can see, our good old Alice. Now, Alice, you're not the queen. You're lost in Wonderland, bro. You're not it. Now again, there's a point to be made that Alice is a nightmare for buff-oriented teams. But is she really a nightmare? I've heard a lot of people say she is, but I just find her underwhelming. She has a unbuffable. She's the only character in the game, by the way, who can put the unbuffable debuff on enemies. But her speed isn't exactly the best. Also, her second skill only strips one buff. Unless you max it out, then it's 2. But again, you're not gonna probably invest too many of your books into her, because books are pretty rare. They're very hard to get, so you should probably incentivize putting them in Noah, Valentine, stuff like that. She's just, in general, I feel she's lackluster. She's not anything special. She does bring something new to the table, but it's not exactly game changing, right? For a new player, for a person who's looking for a new hero. But yeah, there's that. I believe I've covered all the 3 stars. I believe so. I can't see them. There's some like Rin and Stella, but they're not realistically available at the start of the game. But yeah, there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do let me know your own thoughts. Again, this is just my POV point of view. You can state your own. I know a lot of talented players. I know a lot of people watch these videos, and I'd be interested to discuss them with you. Alright, hope you guys have a great day ahead. I'll see you soon. Peace.